Minister, today I'm going to talk to you about the 2040 plan. The National Development Plan in the Midwest region, written in 2015, is like once upon a time of what is needed in Limerick. The plan then went on to the National Development Plan in 2019 and then to the National Framework, which is now the 2040 plan. For leaders' questions today, I looked at the investment projects and programme tracker. Metro Link in Dublin, 1 billion. Lewis Cross City, 500 million. Children's Hospital, 1 billion. Greater Dublin Drainage, 1 billion. Rings End Water Treatment, 1 billion. All of the above projects to be completed by 2025, all worthwhile projects, I'm sure. But what about the rest of the country? Fines Port, you mentioned it there a minute ago. I mentioned it last week in the Dáil and the week before in the Dáil, the deepest port in Europe. I've mentioned in this Dáil on more than one occasion, Minister, of deportation of traffic, dispersion of traffic throughout the country. A perfect example, you come on the motorway from Limerick to Dublin and it's nothing but trucks, trucks, buses, buses, trucks. Why? Fines Port. You talked about the port here in Dublin. 97% of the roll-on and roll-off traffic is coming through Dublin. You talk about reducing emissions. Fines Port is your perfect answer. You talk about dispersion of traffic. The perfect solution is Shannon Airport. Can cater for 4.5 million passengers and in pre-2019 had only 1.8 million. Why? Because people couldn't go through Shannon because they could not get connection flights at the other side because it wasn't viable for them to run the flights through Shannon. You have now got to look at the chairperson of Shannon, and I would ask you to look at somebody for Shannon that has a track record in business, knows the department and knows how to run the airport and let it work for the region that it's in. Last week, the people in Limerick had to nearly walk the streets again to get the road agreed, which was approved in 2015. What yet? In Limerick on Monday, 60% of the towns and villages in Limerick have inadequate water supply. 73% of the towns and villages in Limerick are at max capacity for sewerage systems. And the development plan includes housing infrastructure will be centred around towns and villages in rural Ireland, but not in the countryside. Minister, you need to wake up and look at outside of Dublin.
Thank you, Deputy. Minister.
Deputy, looking forward to 2040, we absolutely need a metro in Dublin and we'll need our bus connects and DART Plus and various other projects. But my colleagues in government will know that in any meeting I have now, my first priority, as I said earlier on to Deputy Murphy, is the national planning framework, that we need better balanced development in this country, we need more compact development and low carbon development. And in that, the first priority in my mind should be looking to the likes of Cork, Galway, Waterford and Limerick and putting in infrastructure investment that would see them grow way beyond anything we've seen in the last 20, 30, 40 years. And I think in Limerick, the Shannon region in general, I absolutely agree with you that that investment needs to be made. And I would start in Fines Port, where, as you say, there's huge potential, very deep waters, which will be close to the offshore wind power resources that we know we're going to develop. And that gives us the potential for industrial development in the area, using the power as it comes ashore, rather than shipping the power to another location or to the east coast where we'd put the industry. Let's put the industry where the power exists. And yes, we will need that for rail freight, because I believe the likes of zinc deposits in the region could well be used, and that will not be shipped by road, that will have to be shipped by rail. We will reopen the Foynes rail line. Not at huge cost, because the line is there. And when we're doing that, look at the other 4 underused rail lines in Limerick and look to put in stations at key points across the city and region, including in Shannon Airport, including in Moyross and Corbally, and a whole range of other stations across and around the city that sees what we want: transport-led development, compact development, really high-quality development where we can put new housing in And that is my first priority. I think we need that because I think we will get the metro and the bus connects. We've done really good work on that, but we haven't done the work in Limerick yet, but we're doing it now. And in the review of the National Development Plan, it's that sort of investment that I hope turns everyone around to think, you know what, that is the clever way of developing Limerick. That is the way where we could put housing beside it and really use the advantages of the region, not just Limerick, but that would benefit the wider region, because we all know that if you start put that infrastructure in, well then tourism starts to work better and Clare starts to benefit and Tipperary starts to benefit. And actually, let's have that vision of a metropolitan region where you extend it out to Nina, so that that service in is a really fast, really low-carbon electric train service. That's all doable. It's all doable because the planning time will not be long, because all the rail lines are there. All we need to do is put in the stations. My colleague Stephen Matthews tells me Irish Rail have real capability, have those plans that we could take off the shelf. We could do them at the same time we do Cork stations. You get them at really low cost. You build them really quickly. You don't have all the planning delays and other high costs. We're using existing infrastructure well. Infrastructure was built almost 100 years ago, but it's still working, and we can upgrade it today to make Limerick a 21st century city fit for the future.
Deputy O'Donoghue.
Thank you, Minister, and I look forward to the investment in Limerick, but it goes back to what I first said to you. It's like once upon a time story. You're talking about everything, but 73% no infrastructure, no storage, no adequate water, but 4.5 billion being spent in Dublin. Billion. There's 25 other counties in Ireland. And you're spending billions, and you're throwing the crumbs out to the other counties in the country. People won't be able to work where you're talking about, because Eskeaton is waiting for 30 years for a storage plant. Oola, 10 years for a storage plant. Kilfinnan had 21 houses built, and 5 of those had to go onto a private storage system on site because there's no capacity. I'd love to see your vision and the story times. But reality is reality. The 2040 plan is going to stop people that are building one-off houses, that are putting in their own storage plants, top of the range, costing €10,000, paying €5,000 to the local authorities because you haven't seen the vision. The 2040 plan is a good plan if there was infrastructure in Ireland and infrastructure in Limerick.
Minister to reply. Thank you. Thank you, Minister, to reply. Thank you.
One of the reasons why we wanted to compact development is because if we keep going out and out and out, we have to keep building new infrastructure. It'll be far more economic for us and work far better if we build up our existing towns, town centre first strategy. And yes, we have to invest in all those existing sewage systems where towns see water or sewage being pumped directly out. But the reason why compact development works is because it's not just cost and time that you can walk to the shops or walk to the church or walk to the local pub. It's also that we're using existing infrastructure. We're not allowing that go to seed and then just building out and out and out. It's actually availing what we have. And that applies in Dublin, in Cork, in Limerick, in Galway, in Donegal, wherever we are. It is those, I would say more than anything else, as well as the cities we need to build up. It's our 19th century market towns. We have a strategic question asked. Do we let them wither in the vine, or do we actually bring people back and life back into the centre and create really vibrant communities there? That, I think, is what this government is going to do.
Thank you, Minister. That concludes